So in the previous class, we concluded the state modeling and we have introduced to the interaction modeling, wherein we have observed there are three diagrams associated with interaction modeling, namely use case diagram, sequence diagram, and activity diagram. In that, we started working with the use case diagram, where we touched upon how a use case can be viewed or where use cases can be utilized and what part of the software development life cycle it is going to fit in, and those identifications we did. Today, let us go in detail about the use case model further to understand how this can enable us to understand the user requirements, maybe the functionality requirements or functional requirements at the problem level. Hope the screen is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these are the three diagrams we have under interaction model. So use case diagram will mainly focus on the functional capabilities or the functional requirements rather of a system, considering functionality of a system. So as we have seen in the previous class, we have taken a house as an example where functionality of a house from user perspective is different. From the person who is constructing the house, their perspective is different. The locality which is governing the house and related activities from a legal aspect or a administration aspect, they are different. But nevertheless, the system is same. House is a common. But there are three different stakeholders, rather, we call them as a actors or users, who are having different expectations from the same system. If that is the case, functionality of the entire system is what we are going to capture under the use case diagram. So we go to the minute level, as we said, we'll go to the all possible levels of understanding of a functionality. Thereby, tomorrow there should not be any question about the system expectations or a system usability. Coming to the sequence diagram, probably to just give a quick introduction to the sequence diagram. As the name says, how the sequence of operations will happen from one object to another object. So normally sequence diagrams are meant for the objects, whereas use case diagrams are meant for the internal functionality which is related to the stakeholders of the, which is outside the system, external stakeholders of the system. So it combines both internal as well as the external, whereas sequence diagram is completely internal. The communication that flows, which is again a time-bound communication that happens or flows from one object to another object. We have also seen some concepts in the state diagram where the state of affairs of a particular class or object, how they change because of something. But sequence diagram will portray after this what is going to happen, how the lifetime of objects are going to be covered. So that is what we are going to see from the sequence diagram. Activity diagram are pretty same as your flow charts, where they give processing happening inside the system. So this is how the interaction models have been described. So we'll take complete control of the use case diagram maybe in today and tomorrow class. Probably remaining classes we can touch upon sequence as well as the activity diagrams. Okay. So continuation to the discussion we had yesterday, use cases are the functionalities which are part of the main system, which have been viewed from the different stakeholders, whether inside or outside the system, majorly outside the system. That's why we say there is a boundary so that we can have a system and outside how people are going to utilize this. That's what the concept it is. Okay. So here we view system as a software system, and people who are going to use them from as a end user perspective or a user perspective rather are going to be the people who are outside the boundary of the use cases, whom we call them as a actors. So that's this differentiation is being brought in this concept. Let us take some more examples today so that the concept of use case diagram will be clear to all of you. So as we know, the use case is the one which describes the functionality of the system. The functionality can be as simple as a login, as complex as processing something. So it can be anything, but we drill down to independent or maybe fundamental use cases so that each stakeholder will have a different say at a different functionality. Okay. For example, if you take a library management system, probably you can identify use cases as issue of a book is one use case. Issuing a book when a library management system becomes one use case. That means the library is mainly issuing the books to its stakeholders, maybe students, staff, or whatever it is. So issuing a book is a main functionality of a library. So having issued the book, what are the related functionalities we have? Returning the book, or collection of a fine if the book is not returned in time, or loss of a book where the book is issued but book never comes back to the system. Then what to do? Replace the book. So for one concept there might be associated concepts, or for one use case there might be associated use case as well. So these are all the various functionalities we have to see from the system perspective. So that is how a concept of a use case. So in the library management system, issue of a book is one use case, returning of a book is another use case, collection of fine or calculation of fine is another use case, how we are going to mitigate the loss of a book is another use case, and supply of books, because you want to replace a book. Who is involved here? Some vendor is involved. So he or she is also part of the system here, because unless they supply the book, how do you run your library system? So they are becoming stakeholders outside the system. So like this, who are all involved in the process of a particular given system is what is going to be concept. We call it as a actor or a user. And based on those actors and users, what all the use cases that are there in the system is what we are going to identify. So use case in general is a functionality of a given system. This functionality can be from multiple perspectives. Why multiple perspectives? Because each system is used by multiple users. Since there are multiple users, since there are multiple stakeholders, obviously multiple use cases exist for a given system. But you should be very careful which use case should be identified for which actor. So that clarity we should have then, because since we are the owners of the given system, we'll definitely have a clarity on that. So once that clarity is brought in, definitely the next level of SDLC is going to be smooth, because there is no ambiguity. So all the cases, you take either class model, class diagram, state model, state diagram, interaction model, use case diagram, or what we see sequence diagram or activity diagram, they're all here to avoid any ambiguity that might have come in the absence of the diagram. So that is the main agenda, and I think we are able to see that for last two diagrams, that is class diagram as well as state diagram, the even use case diagram is going to help us understand the basic requirements or functionality of a new system that we are going to develop as a team of developers in the SDLC lifecycle. So this is the concept of a use case, which I've seen in the previous class. Next concept that is associated with use case is a actor. Who is an actor? An actor is the one who is involving with these use cases into the system. So system is accessed by some users. We call them as actors. Actor is a very, very generic word. User is a specific word. You should be very careful here. You cannot use actor and user as you want. Actors are the general ones, like a class, general one. So user may be a part of actor. Humans can be part of actors. Animals can be part of actors. Another system can be part of actors. So actor becomes a very, very generic word as far as the use case diagram is concerned. And you are going to replace those actors with a specific names depending upon the system that we are going to consider. If you take again the library management system, who are all the actors? The person who is going to issue the book, the librarian, is an actor. Second, the one who is going to take the book, maybe students or staff or someone else who are going to receive the book, they're also going to be actors. And the one who is going to supply the books, he or she is going to be actor, the vendor. They're all the people who are going to be associated with a given system. They're all actors. And sometimes you will write a generic word by name user. When you write user, user is not a replacement for actor here. User is a subset of actors. So be careful to use the word user. So we normally use user as a generic word. So when you're dealing with use case diagrams, be careful. User is a specific type of a customer or a stakeholder for a given system, whereas actor is a completely generic. In the library management system, librarian, students, staff, vendor, all these four people are called as actors. Librarian is an actor, students are actors, staff are actors, vendors are actors. Like that, there may be one more category, user. So that user is a specific set of users. Maybe, let us say, people in the locality of BMSIT, let us say. People who are in the Aulalli village, they also can come and take the library books. Then we call them as a residents of a village, or maybe neighbors, or some different users. So users normally are going to be specific category of actors which are part of the system. So actors and users, be careful when you are using inside the use case diagram. They have a different meaning based on the context. Okay. So nevertheless, actors are those which are going to use the system. Rather, the functionality what we are going to bring through use cases, they have been used by one or more number of actors that are associated with the system. Probably we'll see some diagrams, we'll be able to understand. So what we have to have clarity here is what do you mean by an use case and what do you mean by an actor? Again, to repeat, use case is a functionality of a system. Let it be how small it possible or how big it can be. We can have a very fundamental level of functionality of a given system, because it may look very simple, but there may be different stakeholders for the given use case. So let us write all possible use cases. Use case is nothing but a functionality. This functionality can be viewed from different stakeholders from different perspectives that we have already seen. Second is an actor. Actors are nothing but those who are involved in the system through one or more number of functionalities, what we are going to write in terms of use cases. So use cases, actors, they're related. That means for every use case, there is an actor. That means you cannot write a functionality where there is no actor, right? So you cannot bring in a functionality where there is no actor. So functionality is coming because there is an associated actor in this. So when you write use case diagram, you cannot simply write a use case and keep quiet. No, you should have an actor associated with it. On the other hand, you cannot keep an actor idle where there is no association with any use case. That is also not possible, because use case diagram is meant for whom? People who are involved in the system. Involved means there should be some identification with respect to at least one use case. If you simply write an actor where actor is not having any association with the use case diagram, then that cannot be considered as a use case diagram. Meaning that every use case is having an associated actor, at least one. Similarly, every actor is having one or more associated use cases. In either case, if you don't have any association, we say that is not a proper use case diagram. So that is the context. Probably this gives you a more emphasis on how to relate the use cases and the actors, right? Any doubt here?
No, sir.
Yeah. As use cases are very specific in nature, meaning that functionality, issue of a book, it's only concerned with the issue of a book. Collecting fine, that use case is only worried about the collecting of fine. Next, return of a book, that use case is only worried about how I can take the return of a book. Once I take the return of the book, what all I should do. So each use case is very, very specific in nature. In similar line, each actor also is very specific in nature. You cannot give an actor with multiple roles. If that is the case, define them. If librarian is in charge of doing all these activities of issue a book, collecting a fine, then I can say librarian. If there is one more person by name assistant librarian who also does something, then I will write two actors. One is a librarian is actor, other one is a assistant librarian. So that is the identification or a clarity we should have. So anyhow, entire system is a library, let me put as a librarian. No. If you have a very clear differentiation that a librarian or a deputy librarian or assistant librarian, all three will have a different role plays in a given system, then I will have all these three of them as a separate users or actors as part of the use case diagram. So I will not club them together because they have their own role play. If whatever assistant librarian is doing, the remaining two might not be doing, and vice versa. In that case, I have to. That means we have a specific role being played by an actor. So as use case is very specific, actor also should be very specific in the system. So that's what the clarity we have. And coming back to the UML notation. So UML notation for a use case is this, where you can write a oval like this. So this is a use case, what we have here. And actor is a human symbol like this. An actor, probably if you have seen some of the laboratory exercises, I don't know if use case diagram was start, you could have seen this. This is a symbol of a actor, human symbol. There is a head, there is a hand, legs. This type of human symbol is going to be actor. It is a neutral here. Okay, we're not taking any gender here. It is a just actor here. Actor means it can be a human, it can be an animal, it can be a tree, it can be another system, it can be a computer, it can be living, it can be non-living, it can be anything. So anything that is going to interact with the system through one of the functionalities called use cases, then we call them as an actor. So that is generic word we are going to provide for this actor. It can be anything that has existence which interacts with the one of the use cases. This is the concept of a use case diagram. So one is a use case, which is a oval in shape. Second one is actor, which is a human symbol, right? So again, in the actors, there are different kinds of actors, business actors, normal actors. Let us not worry about them right now, because use case diagrams also will have a different internal nomenclature depending upon general use case or a business use case. There is a small change in the notation, but right now let us not worry about that. But these are the two simple symbols what you should remember. One is the use case, which is a oval in nature. Second, human symbol, which is for a actor, right? Yes. So this is how actors are. Human symbols are actors, and they can be anything, as I said, as long as they have the interaction with the system. They can be anything on the earth. Okay. And their main interest is how they can interact with the system. What type of functionality is existing in the system so that they can be part of it. As I said, you cannot have an actor where there is no role play. Then that cannot be considered as an actor of the use case diagram. If you have put someone as actor, there should be some relation with the functionality. He or she should be related to the, or it should be related to the functionality. On the same line, we have a use case. There cannot be any use case which is not connected to any actor. There should be some functionality. Okay, so these are all the actors and use cases we have in the UML. So you can also see the notation that is used for actor. So next we have a symbols. Just recall, this is how the symbol we have for the actor. Yeah, the guidelines we have just now shown. Whenever you have an actor, actor should be associated with one of the use cases. Similarly, any use case that is there, it should have an associated actor, and no actor will be associated with another actor directly. Meaning that if I have a librarian, if I have a student, both are actors. Librarian is an actor, student is an actor, but I cannot communicate directly with the student as a librarian. What I will do, I will communicate through the use case. For example, issue book is a use case where I will communicate as a librarian to the issue of a book as a functionality or use case. I as a student also will communicate to the issue book as a functionality. We both will communicate as actors to a common use case rather than we communicate with each other. That means no two actors will be communicating directly. If you write that diagram, that is not defined, because there is no, for example, if you take a house, you're constructing a house. If a machine or if a person who is involved in constructing the house, with whom he has to interact, he has to interact with the site, 30-40 site what we have, not with anybody else. You as a customer who is going to live in this house, you are going to live in that 30-40 site, which is your functionality. A person who is a local body, which is going to make sure that you have followed some guidelines, they also will worry about the 30-40. Doesn't matter who is the owner of the site, or it doesn't matter which location it is. So all these things are located or pointing to that particular piece of land, which is going to be the main functionality. So thereby, the functionality is the one which is actually combining the actors, so that there should not be any direct communication between or among the actors. Okay, and obviously, as I said, actors are very, very specific and unique in nature. They should be maybe singular in nature, cannot be what you call multiple or plural, whatever you have. Better to have because each actor will have a different establishment of association with each system, right? Yes. These are all the very high level. Let us not worry. Now let us come back to our example of use case diagram. So use case, well, actor, who is a entity connecting with these use cases, and how do you combine them? You combine with the arrow mark. Again, use cases are a bidirectional. That means you interact as an actor to the use case, and use case also will be interacting with you as a actor. So, okay, so that's how the bidirectional can be brought in between. Fine. Yes. So to summarize the notations, we have a use case vowel, we have an actor. Okay. Colors will be different from different portals, but symbols remain same. And as I said, use case comes with a boundary. That means all the use cases are within the system and all the actors are outside the system. As I said, actors can be anybody, anything that is associated with the given system. So functionality is existing from the system perspective. Thereby, all the use cases are kept in a box, rectangle box. Thereby, we say there is a boundary. Boundary means there is a specification. You cannot go beyond this particular concept. Some assumptions are there inside that. And whoever is interacting, they're interacting being outside the system. We call them as a actor. So in another way of looking at an actor is the one who interacts with the system through one of the functionality being an outside entity or an outside stakeholder. So that is a concept. Okay. Anyhow, let us take some examples. It will be easy for us. Okay. So this is an example of a searching of a website. Okay. Post this probably will take some examples so that you can also work out and understand how these things can be written. Well, so there is a customer. This is a very, very generic website use case. There is a customer. So the customer wants to go for a auction, e-auction rather, through a website. Okay. The website is very clear. It is providing. You can see the boundary here. This is the boundary. That means the functionality is fixed for this particular website. So what all the functionalities you can have? You can have a search for an item because you are going to search for which one you want to bid. Later, if you are okay, you are going to bid for that. That is what actioning. If that bid is available for you or whenever the bid is open, you will be part of the auction. If you are selected for the bid, you will try to apply for the bid and take it to the next level. So that is the concept of a bid, let us say. So how many people are involved here? Luckily, they have given only one, but it is very rare that we have a system with only one actor. There might be another. So this is a person who is investing money. There might be some other fellow who is in charge here just to make sure that all policies and all activities are done. He might be, say, officer. Some officer will be there. That officer will be in charge to ensure that all those formalities of a bid are taken place here. So this is the simple exercise or simple example of a use case of a website. So let us take one more if possible. Yeah, I think we have come to a library. Yes. So this is how the library. So boundary you should write. Any use case diagram, if you do not write a boundary, that is, I personally feel it is a blunder. So you should have a boundary. So what is a boundary? That boundary clearly demonstrates that these are the functionalities of a given system. So if you take a library management system, I have an issue of a book, that is oval here, use case, return of a book, and search for books, query books for a subject, search for a book. This is very simple. We have discussed so many use cases just now, but this is very simple diagram just to understand. So issue of a book, return of a book, and searching of a book are having these type of requirements in the given library system. And now who are the actors now? There is one actor here who is a librarian. There is another actor who is a student here, right? So two actors are involved in this. So what all we discussed now? There cannot be actor without having association. Do we have an association here? Yes, we have an association. There cannot be use case which is not used. So here we have a use case, at least one actor is there. Here there is a use case, at least one. There can be any number of actors, but at least one is minimum. So here also at least one. There is a boundary. Yes, there is a boundary. So what else? They are very specific, librarian, student. So that means you have a use case diagram here representing the minimum requirements of a normal use case diagram which we have followed, and we are able to establish it is a use case diagram. So how are they connected now? Librarian is connecting to issue book. So issue book is a functionality. Who are all involved here? How you have to look at this perspective now? Issue book is a functionality. Who will be involved in this? You are coming as a student and you are going to take the book. So probably I can write one arrow mark here, right? So when there is a issue book functionality, librarian is issuing a book and student is taking the book, right? So these two actors are part of the issue of a book. So in this diagram, they have identified only librarian. Issue book here is involving only librarian. Probably they will not be considering the actor who is a student here who is going to receive the book. That may be a different system. But in general, if you take our own college library, you go and request for a book and that book is given to you. So through issue of a book, you are also involved because you are asking for a book. Librarian is also involved because they are issuing the book. So issue book involves two actors, one in terms of librarian, other one in terms of the student. Suppose I go as a staff, I will also be part of the library management system. What I will do now, I will also go and ask for a book. So what will happen? This use case is also applicable for me. In this case, the same librarian is involved with two actors through the common use case called as a issue of a book. That's what I say. From one use case, you can have multiple actors. That's what we have here as well. Return of a book. There are multiple actors involved. So all these things are possible. But minimum is an actor is part of use case diagram only when that actor is involved in the functionality that is connected with one of the use case. Similarly, an use case is said it is a part of use case diagram only when it is associated with at least one of the actors in the system. If that is not the case, then it cannot be part of the use case diagram. Okay, so that is the care what you have to take. Coming to the return of a book now. When you return a book, who is going to return the book? The student will return the book, as well as the whatever the book it is written will be counted by librarian inside the system. So when you go to the return of a book, both librarian is also involved as well as student is also involved in this. Okay, the arrow can be either right to left or left to right. It's only who is interacting is what is the question here. Okay, next, query of a book. I want to search for a book. Even librarian can search for a book. Even the student also can search for a book. If that is the case, I can have. So if the facility is given only to the librarian, not for the student, then probably the diagram what they have written here is going to be the correct. So this is how, that means it is your system. You decide what you want. That's what we have been talking about from models, class model, state. You decide what you want. Once you decide means this is the system I'm going to bring in, or I'm going to construct, or I'm going to design, then accordingly you are going to write the diagram. So once you decide this is what I want for my library management system, I can write like this. Okay. So what you can do now is we'll take an example. Before that, if you have any doubts, please let me know. Do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
On use case? Are you able to see the blank screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now let me try a use case diagram for a vending machine, which we have taken as example last time. It's a vending machine. Okay. So for a vending machine, how to write a use case diagram? So first and foremost is you should have boundary, right? Hope you're able to see what I'm writing.
Yes, sir.
Yes. This is called as vending machine. Now, if at all I have actors, they will be outside the system. So let me first identify what are the functionality a vending machine is normally having. So what is a vending machine? Vending machine is going to take some money from you. Based on the money that you have given, an item that is equivalent to that will be identified and that will be dispensed. That's what is going to happen. Okay. Assume you are in an airport now. You want to purchase a beverage, which is a Coca-Cola tin, which is asking for 20 rupees. You are going to supposed to enter 20 rupees or provide 20 rupees to the system. It is going to provide the beverage to you. So one functionality is beverage. I will say I don't know, it is not visible. So what you are going to do by beverage functionality? So I say it is a buy. Some verb I will add. Then only will be easy. Issue book we have seen. Return book we have seen. Compute fine we have seen. So there is a verb associated. So use cases are nothing but verbs. I want to buy a beverage. When I want to buy a beverage, who are all involved here? Customer is involved. You should say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I want to buy a beverage. So when I buy a beverage, what way I'm associated with this? I'm going to pay money. If I give money, 20 rupees, I will get a beverage. Okay. So that is not only customer now. Suppose I give money. What is the guarantee beverage is existing? You have given 20 beverages, all 20 are sold out. I will go and put a coin or 20 rupees now. I am not getting. So what you have to do? You have to check. You have to make sure that the stock is existing, right? The one who is in charge, I call it as a clerk. The clerk is in charge of filling the entire machine with the stock. So provide a stock. Unless there is a stock, I will not be able to take a call of it or take beverage from it. So who is involved in this? A clerk is involved. But what clerk will do? He will say, I want 20 beverages to be stocked here. But what he will do? He will give an order to someone. Who is that order fellow? He is a supplier. Supplier is involved in bringing the stock. Similarly, there is a person who is involved here just to make sure that everything is proper. There is a mechanic. Normally, vending machines are automatic. Nobody will be monitoring them. But in case stock is out of order, a clerk has to monitor that. Someone has to come frequently and check whether stock is there, or they should have today's world of IoT, they can have some mechanism. If it comes beyond 20 or 30, they can get a beep sound and something. So whatever it is, there should be some person who is looking after this. And vending machine is a machine. It may go wrong at some time. So mechanic is required to repair that. So repair is another use case where this fellow is in charge. So like that, you take a vending machine as a system. There are different stakeholders. As we keep on discussing, we'll get multiple people. Who knows, there might be thief who is going to take this entire vending machine out. He is also a stakeholder. So you have to go to that level. That means everything that is associated with this particular system, whether internal or external or anything, environment, all those you should find. Then only you can write a robust system, right? So you'll be having, when you discuss like this with the client, you'll get to know who are the client, who are the customers, what are the use cases, all those you will identify. As you keep on adding, your use case diagram will be growing bigger. So who is the person involved here? The system analyst, who is going to communicate with the customer or the client. He or she is going to get the data. So now this is an actor 1. This is an actor 2, actor 3, actor 4, right? Each one is called as an actor. So what type of actor? Mechanic is one actor, clerk is another actor, customer is another actor, supplier is another actor. Maybe some where you are paying some rent for this vending machine, the locality, maybe bus stand, the owner of a bus stand, or maybe the in charge of a bus stand is also one of the stakeholders. Like that, you keep increasing the level of functionality with the different stakeholders. So it goes hand in hand. You should also know who are the stakeholders. You should also know what is the functionality. Now, is there any use case which is not used? We have a beverage, at least customer is involved. We have a stock, supplier, clerk are involved. We have a repair, mechanic is involved. Is there any actor who is not connected here? Mechanic connected, clerk connected, customer connected, supplier connected. Do we have a boundary? Yes, I have a boundary. Now I can say this is a use case diagram for vending machine. Can I say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Similarly,
Yes, sir.
you can write use case diagram for an ATM machine. Can you help me? Who are the actors? What are the use cases for ATM?
Customer, sir.
Customer. Okay.
Banks.
Who else?
Bank, sir. Bank.
Bank is a system now. ATM is a part of bank. So let us take ATM as a part of a bank now. So bank is a system. Assume if you take bank is another actor, it will be complicated. It is very simple. From ATM perspective, okay, let me write bank. Okay. Since ATM is very specific, okay, I will take bank also as a
maintenance
Like-
for money deposition.
okay. Any names for them? Specific name?
Administrator.
Sir, ATM technician.
Okay, we'll give administrator. Yes. And these are the names you need not by heart or you need not worry. Who is going to give these names? Your client will give, because you are going to sit across, ask them, what do you want? What do you want? Who are involved? Then they will say some names. Those keywords you are going to write, right? You need not by heart anything. So as a designer or as an analyst. Anything else for ATM? Okay, let us conclude. These are the three actors. Now, what are the use cases in ATM?
Withdrawal, sir.
Withdrawal,
So check balance.
balance. So let us write verbs.
Read card.
Read card.
Authentication.
Authentication. Okay, read card only. We'll write one simple use case. It will have everything, let us say. Because it
Maintenance.
can be as big as possible. As I said, it can be like a big binary tree for you or any tree, what you have seen data structure. I'm just listing out basic things. One is withdrawal, check balance, read card. What else?
Maintenance.
Shall I write print statement?
Yes, sir.
No, let us stop here. Now, customer, what customer will do? Customer can withdraw,
Yes, sir.
customer can check balance, customer is involved in the read card, because unless he insert the card, what type of reading is possible, right? And customer is involved in print statement directly. Here I want your attention. Customer, nowadays ATM says you can print statement. Maybe 5 years back, that concept was not there. By default, printing was coming. Have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Without you asking for, print used to come. In that case, customer printout use case was not possible because you are not asking for a print. So I can't give this line 5 years back. Today I have to go because our ATM provides a facility, use case or a functionality for a customer to get a print statement. Hope you got the clarity now.
Yes, sir.
You decide what you want. And there may be some other ATM where you can deposit cash, right? One bank will provide this, one bank does not provide, and one ATM will accept this, one ATM will not accept. So you decide what you want. Accordingly, your use case diagram or use case diagram is nothing but how to understand the requirements of a client. That's all. Is that simple words, right? So you identify what is required. So in our case, we say print statement, is not done by customer. It is done by withdrawal itself by default. So one use case is interacting with another use case. Remember here, I told you one actor should not interact with another actor directly, but one use case can interact with another use case. We call that as a extending of a use case. We'll see when you go to the advanced modeling. But one actor, another actor should not interact, whereas one use case, another use case can interact. Okay. So now I'm getting a print statement as a result of withdrawal. If you do withdrawal, there is one more associated functionality. What is that? Printing of a statement. So let us come back to the bank. When you do withdrawal, bank is involved because the database is going to update.
Yes,
When you
sir.
ask for a check balance, you are going to get the balance from whom?
Banks.
Only. When you take read card, you tell whether administrator will validate your card or bank. You can take a call. Your administrator may be some other system. As I said, administrator need not be human. It can be some other system. I can say it is your server, let us say. This administrator is nothing but your server. So your card is validated. And you want to print the, what you call, statement. So bank is also not involved. Administrator is also not involved because print statement is a part of the withdrawal. So you need not attach any actor for this. So what did we say just now? Every use case should have an associated actor. In this case, what is happening? Print statement, in the absence of customer directly contacting it, what is going to happen? A use case is internally using another use case. This is an exception. Just now we told that one use case should be used by at least one actor or other. But what is that we are demonstrating now? There is a use case print statement. There is no actor involved, right? I don't want this actor to be part of this. That is the customer. Then what is happening? An existing use case is using or extending further to use the print statement as use case. This is possible. This is allowed. This is an exception. Correct? So this is how the concept is. But what you have to keep in mind is that use case diagram is basically to target the functionality that is there inside the system, so that the people outside the system, whoever it is, how they are going to interact with the system is what we are going to figure out. Okay. So let us take maybe a small example. You can work meanwhile on that. I can come back for the attendance in time. Hope you all are familiar with the online shopping. Assume you are going to order for a pizza through Zomato. Describe that process of ordering till you get your order delivered in the use case diagram. Okay, so pizza delivery is what I am going to look at as a use case diagram. So try to write a diagram for pizza delivery, which is done through online concept, right? Try to that. Meanwhile, let me take attendance. Number 1.
Yes, sir.
Number 2.
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Where? Yes, sir. Number 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Number 4.
Yes, sir.
6.
Yes, sir.
8.
Yes, sir.
9.
Present, sir.
10.
Yes, sir.
11,
Yes, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13,
Present, sir.
14,
Present, sir.
15,
Yes, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Yes, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19,
Present, sir.
20,
Present, sir.
21,
Present, sir.
22,
Present, sir.
23, 24,
Yes, sir.
25,
Present, sir.
26,
Present, sir.
27,
Present, sir.
28,
Present, sir.
29,
Yes, sir.
30,
Yes, sir.
31,
Present, sir.
32,
Present, sir.
33,
Present, sir.
34,
Present, sir.
35, 36,
Present, sir.
37,
Present, sir.
38,
Present, sir.
39,
Present, sir.
40,
Yes, sir.
41, 42,
Present, sir.
43,
Present, sir.
44,
Present, sir.
45,
Present, sir.
46, 47,
Present, sir.
48,
Present, sir.
49,
Present, sir.
50, 51,
Present, sir.
52,
Present, sir.
53,
Present, sir.
54,
Present, sir.
55,
Present, sir.
56,
Present, sir.
57,
Present, sir.
58,
Present, sir.
59,
Present, sir.
yes. If any of you are ready, you can show.
Yes, sir. I am showing, sir.
Hello?
Sir, I am showing, sir.
Yeah, we'll wait for somebody else.
Sir, can I show?
Who is that?
Samir, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is it visible?
Hmm. Customer, delivery boy. So delivery boy is untouchable or what?
Sir, I forgot to do it, sir. Delivery will be there.
Contacted COVID.
No, sir. By
Fine.
mistake, I
Do not
forgot.
leave, no? You should give. Delivery is there? No, that is the apt use case.
So there'll be
You're in a high level diagram. Chef also you have brought. Okay. But where is the website? How are you doing online delivery?
I didn't do that, sir.
Database. So this is it. Okay for the offline delivery. In the sense, you go there, you pick up something, right? But you are doing now in
Yes.
online mode, so your diagram might be something different. Otherwise, fair enough. Order preparation, order placed, packaging, delivery. Okay. Any better diagram? Someone at the end. If nobody is coming, yes, Darshan.
Sir, is it visible?
Yes. Customer. Okay, register login, select pizza, make payment, payment delivery details, inventory management. So admin, okay, delivery. Okay, fine. This is a high level again. So you can further write, but this is okay. It's a fair enough.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Lavanya.
Yes. Sir, is it visible, sir?
Not yet. Yeah. Oh. Registration, login, menu, start icon, complete website you have brought in. Now this is a too much a detail.
sir.
No problem. Nothing wrong in that. That's what use case diagram is for a complete understanding. You're given very
Yes.
detailed. But okay, even in the exam, don't go to that detail. Give superficial.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dakshayani. Yeah.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, yes. Restaurant registration, login, add, review, pay. Pay is a use case not touched.
Okay, sir. I'll make corrections.
Hmm.
Can I start reading, sir?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Raman. Sure. Tomato customer. Not visible now.
Is it showing, sir?
Be there. Menu, register, login, select item, view bill, place order, logout, delivery order. So delivery boy will deliver to whom?
Customer, sir.
Customer is related, right?
Yes, sir. There will be
To
connection.
the delivery.
Customer and deliver item.
Yes, fine then. So this is how probably, so you have seen 4 students of giving different diagrams. So all 4 are valid more or less. So that means it is a perception, right? The system, what it wants. The system, how it is being related to its outside world, to its stakeholders. If you know that, you can write. If you don't know, you cannot do that. So before you attempt to understand, write a use case diagram or any diagram for that matter, you should know the knowledge about the system. If someone asks you, develop metro ticketing system, let us say, which you don't know what is a metro, how ticket of metro works, you should know the system, right? What you will do, you will go to the manager of a metro, ask him or her how metro works, how ticket should be, what type of ticket, what is the validity, all those you should know. So unless you know, you will not be able to write. So that knowing concept is what? Eliciting the information. That is the role of a system analyst. Once you get the data, you are going to put it in a form of a diagram. So once diagram is brought in, every one of you in the system or the people in the client side, that is a metro, or people like us who are the third party, all can understand what this entire system is. So that's what the idea is. So you will be knowing the complete idea about the system before you venture out putting it in a diagram format. So if you know the system, you can write any detailed a type of a diagram. If you don't know about the system, probably end up in 2-3 use cases. That's fine. It's a learning process. If you can understand the basis behind how a use case diagram can be built, that is more than sufficient at this point of time. So we'll close the class for the day, and we'll be looking at maybe the other models or advanced use case model in the next class. Fine? Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I want to say that BMSIT college, sir, I want to say if it is
You are not
correct.
that audible, Raman.